Hi, I'm Brooke, and this is the toy that I chose. It's called the Busy Poppin' Pals, and I borrowed it from the twins that I nanny next door. It is for ages 9 months and up, and the twins have been playing with it since they were about 5 months old. I wouldn't say it's associated with a gender, and I don't think there's any cultural associations with this toy either. So gross and fine motor skills. Gross motor skills would include reaching for the object and situating oneself in front of it. But it's more of a fine motor skills toy. It has different objectives for each little animal. So let's see. First one we got is a horizontal slide. And then we have a vertical flip, a horn, a turn key, and then last but not least is a horizontal flip. So it requires a couple different skills in there. The key is definitely the hardest. Twins still have not gotten that yet, and they're a year and a half now. Their favorite is horn. It makes a great noise as well. Some cognitive requirements for this toy. They need to understand cause and effect for each button, and it also requires sequencing because they have to replace and reset it afterwards. They have to push all the flaps down. So perceptual requirements for that, I mentioned body awareness, where they are in relation to the object, how much force they have to give for each button, and make sure that they are correctly seated in front of the toy, because as you saw me trying to do it backwards, it's a little bit harder if you aren't correctly positioned. For social and emotional aspects, if I hadn't observed this toy in use multiple times, I would say no, because it's a toy and it's supposed to be fun. But the twins get really frustrated with it because they don't like the first step of opening everything. They just like smacking it closed. So they knew that when this was out, I would come and open all of them for them so they could smack them closed, and then that was the way of getting like extra attention and stuff. But they just get really frustrated because I can't sit there all day and open them for hours, which they would do for hours if I don't take it away. So eventually I hid it until they were a little bit older, because they weren't ready for that level of problem solving, because their version of problem solving is just crying and making me do it for them. So now they like it. They're getting the gist of it. Their horn, like I said, is their favorite one because I think it's easier. But eventually they'll get all the other flaps as well. Safety precautions. There's no like small parts to this. It's pretty durable. That could be a safety precaution because they might, pick it up and throw it, which I've seen done. So that's not good. But nothing to choke on, nothing that they can shove in their mouth and run around with. So the only thing I would say is one kid at a time, because like I said, they like to push the flaps closed, and one twin will want to look at the cute little character, and the other one's like, no, close it, and they smush their fingers. So one child at a time. Piaget's theory, as it corresponds with this toy, I would say it falls under the sensory motor, because the child can manipulate objects and move to reach to an interesting object, but is also pre-operational, because they begin to experiment and learn cause and effect. And it was stated in the Kramer and Hinawasa about acquisitional frame of reference would be using this toy for practice, repetition, while still learning a skill that uses the same movements. And I've seen kind of styles of these at rehab facilities for patients with Parkinson's, and they're learning how to turn a key again or a doorknob. Kind of like a less fun bop it for an adult is the best way to describe it. Parton's theory for this, I would say that the twins are a little young. From what I understand, Parton's theory is a little bit older, but I've seen them do onlooker play and parallel play. We always have two of these, so they do mimic each other while they're both playing with it, and they're always aware of what the other twin is doing and who is in the room. So I would say they're definitely a little bit young for Parton's theory, but they're fitting the criteria. So adaptations for this toy. You could make the buttons a little bit bigger for someone that's lacking in fine motor skills, just so it's a little bit easier to hit the flaps or perform the movements. Also, for those sensitive to sound, such as kids with autism, I would recommend like rubberizing this whole thing because it is kind of loud and frightening when you open the flaps, and it's kind of jarring. So I would recommend just calming it down a little bit more. Try to make it a little more calming activity. Would I recommend this toy? It's kind of a nice toy for a grow with me toy. They can use it at different stages. The 4-year-old, which is the twins' brother, we use this and we call it our control center for our amphibious car that we make out of a couch cushion. This would be cooperative play, and he has a whole storyline played out, and he has roles for everybody. The red button is like emergency, and number 1 is what switches it from a boat to a car. And so I would say it's a great toy for all ages, and we've had a blast with it. All right, thank you.